Are we live?
Yeah.
Oh, exciting. Hello. I need to tell you the truth. We had just been looking at Sammy's dog who was behind the scenes, and I was still thinking about how cute the dog was. Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to the webinar this evening or afternoon. One of my favorite ones. I love Local Search Clinic, and we are lucky enough to have Elizabeth with us. So I think we're going to run through some housekeeping now. We've got a slide change. What I normally say is the question that gets asked over and over again is the session going to be recorded? So yes, the session will be recorded and you will be able to access that after. So hello, I'm Claire. I'm going to introduce you, or allow Elizabeth to introduce herself. Tell us about yourself, please, Elizabeth.
All right. Hi, I'm Elizabeth Rule. I work for Sterling Sky as a local SEO analyst and account manager. I'm also a Google Business Profile product expert on the GBP community forum. So I help local businesses over there handle different GBP issues. And when it comes to other types of local SEO work I do, I love to work with local content and help businesses develop content strategies to help showcase their business, as well as rank better on local maps and search.
Thank you very much. My reminder, Jenny's just prompted me, is it's going to be live on YouTube, and now I'm going to remind you about Facebook, because we're going to have a slide change. That after this, you can catch up with everyone in the local pack. So make sure you've joined there, because there's lots of questions, answers, connecting people in local. So thank you very much, Elizabeth. We have been super excited about this because, one, I think you're the best. And two, I love the Local Search Clinic because it gives everyone a chance to ask an expert and get all of their sort of burning questions out. So if you've got a question, click on the question section, write it up, make it as clear and succinct as you can, and then we'll go through them, and we're going to tap into Elizabeth's amazing mind. So without further ado, I think we're just going to crack on with it. I think we're going to see the questions up on the screen.
Mm-hmm. There's one question in there I want to answer real quick. Yes, okay. This is Sarah Michelle Gellar from Buffy. Oh. Jeff asked in the comments. And I have to share. I have to let everyone know.
Is she your favorite?
What, my favorite?
Are you a big Buffy fan?
Absolutely. 12 out of 10, favorite show ever.
I definitely need to revisit. Okay, so I'm just going
to... We'll talk about it.
Okay, all right. Favorite characters, plot lines, etc., etc. Yep. So we're just going to crack on. Let us go with the first question. So I have got missing reviews on my GBP listing. Why are they missing, and what do I do?
Yeah, this is a very common question we get on the GBP community forum. And recently, within the last couple of months, Google has been turning up the dial on their spam filter. And this is a filter that will automatically catch reviews that they consider spam based on their guidelines for content. And when they turn the dial up, it managed to catch a lot of spam reviews. Like, it did a really good job of mitigating those automatically, but it also swept in a bunch of false positives for reviews that weren't probably spam, but got caught in the filter as well and never appeared. So if you're missing reviews that you know a customer has posted, it is that filter. And what you can do is contact support, and you're going to want to send them a screenshot or the name of the person that the review is missing. And if it's multiple, get as many screenshots, names as you can. And hopefully they'll be able to find them and reinstate them. If not, go to the Google Business Profile forum and post the screenshots and ask a product expert to look into it. And then they'll be able to escalate it to the appropriate team. And I've had a lot of success getting reviews reinstated with the screenshot and or name. Without that, it's sometimes hard for Google to find the missing reviews.
I'll just piggyback on that for a minute, if I may. Jenny will tell me off if I shouldn't be adding questions. What's the best way for a business to keep a track of how many reviews it has, so they can start to identify whether or not this is affecting them?
Yeah, it's really tough, especially for multi-location businesses that are like asking their employees to ask people for reviews, or you have a really good review strategy, so you don't know how many reviews you're supposed to be getting. Keeping an eye on the review count. Like I've had some of my clients come to me and say, hey, I had 350 reviews. I thought I got a new one, but I actually only have 345 reviews now. So 5 are missing. And in that case, it's really hard to make a case to support being like, oh, 5 reviews are missing, because you don't know which ones they are. So a lot of the times they won't be able to find them for whatever reason. But still, knowing that number, like 5 are missing, is better than nothing. So keeping track of the review count. And then you can also, I'm sure there's some way to use the API to pull in data into like a Google Data Studio or some reporting tool that will be able to report to you every day, like you have this many reviews, you gained 1 or you lost 1. So that's because Google won't notify you, unfortunately. So you have to create those notifications for yourself.
Yeah. I think if you're using software to manage your reviews, you've probably got your weekly or monthly roll-up report, so you could compare and contrast. So that's super. Right, let's look out for our next question. Brianna, if I have multiple GBP listings, do I link all of them to my homepage, or should I link them to other pages on my site? Thank you, Brianna.
Yeah, that's a great question, and something I also hear a lot from clients is this the best strategy to link all of my GBPs, which are in different areas, to the homepage? And sometimes, yes, if they're all in the same city, targeting the same keywords, then yeah, you'll probably be good linking to the homepage. But if you have GBPs listings in different states or different major cities in whatever country, state you're in, you're going to want to send that traffic to a different page that's targeting the location that your GBP listing is in. So your homepage is probably should be targeting one location. And for an additional GBP in a separate location, you're not going to get as much benefit from linking from the GBP to that homepage that's not targeting the location you're in. So you're going to want to create custom pages, custom landing pages for each location, targeting your top service or services and that specific location.
Yeah, and also brilliant answer. Just also making sure that you have your obvious things like name, address, phone number. You've written some great pieces, haven't you, on content for services pages plus location landing pages. They both need something a little bit different. So we should probably pop a link to some of those pieces in the chat. If we could do that, that would be super duper. Right. What do we have next? Let us see the next question. So Michael has a customer with 2 Google Business Profile pages. So a customer with 2, what is the best thing to do? Combine them.
That's a very loaded question. The first thing you need to do is determine, do you qualify for 2 GBPs? And if yes, are you benefiting from 2 GBPs? So the first thing I would ask, are these 2 separate businesses? Because a lot of the times people will have 2 separate businesses out of one address. They'll have 2 GBPs for that address. And then sometimes if the information is too similar. Like you have the same phone number, you have like the same website for both businesses. Google could merge those listings because they're at the same address. They have similar information. They don't understand they're two separate businesses. So in that case, if they are two separate businesses, no, I wouldn't combine them. You would work to get Google to understand they're separate entities. If you have two GBPs in the same city and they're the same business doing the same services, you're going to want to see if they are both ranking independently of each other, like if they're far enough away from each other to not run into any issues with ranking. Like one of them is cannibalizing the other because maybe it has more reviews, maybe it's older, so it's more optimized, it has more authority, and the other one's not doing as well because it's closer, it's too close. Google's not choosing to show it because you have this other listing. In that case, I would have to see the situation if you should combine them. But a lot of times, yeah, if you have a very underperforming listing and it's close enough, you can combine them and see more benefit from one listing. But if they're far enough away from each other, like especially if they're in different cities, no, don't combine them.
I was going to say, Michael, if you want to DM or tweet either of us to actually tell us, because, are they service area business? Is this a bricks and mortar? So a lot of it is to do with, are they actually in compliance?
That too.
Probably.
Qualify for two. A lot of people.
Yeah, so that's the thing. We'll have a little look to see if they're in compliance first of all, and then make maybe help you out with that one. Okay, what do we have next? Melody. Whoa, what do you? Oh, sad times. I'm sorry if this
very
is happening.
sad times.
What do you do when your GBP is suspended, and worse still, within 2 hours of getting verified?
Yeah. Unfortunately, you're going to have to go through the reinstatement process. I've actually seen this recently quite a few times, specifically with video verification. Like directly after the video verification, it looks like it goes through and gets verified, but then the profile immediately gets suspended. You can't go through verification. Like that process is ended. So you're going to need to go through the reinstatement form and try to see what on your profile could have caused a suspension. It could be if you have another GBP listing and you have a service area that was overlapping with the new listing, that could be a reason for the suspension. If you have two listings and they both have the same phone number, that could be another reason for the suspension. And then go through the reinstatement process, and hopefully you give them enough information, including like what could have gone wrong, your business proof, like registration, signage photos, insurance. Give them as much proof as possible the first time, and hopefully it gets reinstated. But yeah, it's just a typical suspension. And unfortunately, you're just going to have to figure out why they would have suspended it so soon after verification.
It's awful and horrible. And I love what you just said there about getting all of your ducks in a row in terms of when you get, I mean, that's a good idea for anyone, isn't it? It's like, it is likely at some point that you will get suspended. I mean, I've had lots of listings that are real businesses that have been around for years and years and years. And, we've had suspensions with many of them. So making sure that you have all of that documentation and that proof to hand. And so when it happens, rather than having a Scrabble every time, you can just submit all of that. So that is super duper. Thank you very much. Good luck, Melody. What question do we have? Sarah, for a national multi-location company, what are your recommendations to rank in local search for each of those locations across the country?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great question. So this goes back to the landing page question we had earlier. For each of your GBP locations, you're going to want to have a fully optimized location page. And then like Claire said earlier, make sure you have your name, phone number, address for each location on that page. And then you're going to want to optimize that page along with any other location specific pages on your site for that particular location. Like say you have a listing in Seattle and then you have another one in like Oregon. So 2 different states. You're going to want to make sure your site is optimized fully for both locations and that you are able to rank your location page in another state, even if your website maybe isn't like optimized for just one location. So that's the trick of it, is to just make sure your page and your website is ranking organically in the area you want it to. Because then when you link your GBP to it, that's what Google's going to use to understand like what this GBP should rank for and how much, or like how high it should rank. Like what are the organic rankings? Oh, okay, very good organic rankings, and the GBP can rank better in that area as well. So it all comes down to website optimization and making sure your website is optimized for the locations you're trying to rank in.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And we'll move on to the next question. Hope Marshall. Hello, Hope. Can you tell me some more about competitor density and how this impacts how far you can rank from your GBP location? What a good question.
Yeah. I love this question because I'm actually going to be talking about it at Local U at the end of April, which we're having in Dallas. My talk goes specifically into competitor density, and it very greatly impacts how far away you can rank from a single GBP location. So the vicinity update really changed how listings are able to rank and how far away they're able to rank from their physical location. So for keywords that don't have a geo modifier on them, we like to call those implicit keywords. So think if you're a dentist, the word dentist, that's an implicit keyword. You are not going to be able to rank nearly as far away from your physical location for dentist as you are for dentist Seattle, or any explicit keyword, which is a keyword that has the location on the end of it or the beginning or somewhere in it. And competitor density really comes into play with how far you can rank for both those types of terms. Like if there's a lot of competitors in there, you're not going to be able to rank for that dentist implicit keyword very far away.
When you talk about implicit and explicit, do you include near me as an explicit? Yeah, so it's not just
that as implicit.
Implicit.
Yeah, because you're not going to rank very far away from your location for near me. That's more of an implicit keyword in the respect of like how far you can reach with one GBP listing.
But it depends where the searcher is, doesn't it? So with the near me modifier.
Yep. Whereas the explicit term that has the location in it, you're able to rank much better for that because it doesn't matter as much where you're physically located. Whereas the implicit terms, it does matter where you are as the user. Yep.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you. What have we got next? Can we have the next question? Miguel, thank you. How do you take yourself out from a GBP you're no longer managing, even if you have asked the owner multiple times to take you out?
Do you have access to just go in there and remove yourself? Like if you still have access to the listing, just log in and then you got to click the 3 dots at the top, go past, remove this listing completely and click.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't click the remove listing completely.
Yeah.
And there should be a manager's button. You just click that and delete your username.
Yeah. And I think because that option to actually like kill everything didn't exist in the dashboard, I don't think.
No.
Or if it was very hidden somewhere. So even if you can still access locations in the old dashboard, I think. So business.google.com, and then you just check the box and then remove this location, and removing the location with the old style dashboard just means that you are removing yourself as a manager rather than actually killing that location. So you should be able to do it yourself. If you can't, send us a little screenshot or something of what you're seeing, and maybe we can talk you through it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you. Okay. Yes, I wish I could choose how I want to verify. Is there a way to bypass the postcard verification process and go straight to video?
No, there's no way to bypass it. You have to do whatever verification method Google gives you. I have seen that after 3 postcards, like if you send a postcard, wait a week, it says 5 business days, so you have to wait a little bit longer to send the next one. You send it 3 times. I have seen Google give another option, but not always. Like I've also seen them just keep giving the postcard. It really depends on your region. Sometimes it depends on your industry. But if you really can't get this postcard, you've tried at least 3 times, you can contact support and request a manual verification. And then at that point, hopefully the support person can trigger another type of verification method. Yeah. But it's really up to their discretion, unfortunately.
Have you had like an example where the support person can just do it themselves somehow? Because I've had like postcards 3 times, and then I've had an invitation for video, and there's actually no internet at that location, or you can't actually do a video. Could they just sort it out themselves if you can give them the proof?
I've never had a support person verify a listing for me. I have had them help with suspensions where you, after the reinstatement, you still didn't get reinstated. So you contact support with more proof. And then at that point, support can get the listing reinstated. I haven't had it for verifications though. I have had them give me another verification method after postcard.
Yeah.
But again, doesn't happen every time. Sometimes support's like, okay, you need to do the postcard.
You need to do 6,000 more postcards. And if all else fails, don't forget that you can tap somebody up in the community that should be able to help you. So.
Yeah, that would be the next step too. Contact support, ask for the manual verification. If nothing goes right with support, which sometimes it doesn't, go to the community forum and ask a PE to help.
Yeah, and they'll be able to hopefully sort that out, especially if you've got all the stuff to give them straight away and you're very clear about, you know, this is a valid listing, here is my proof, here is this, here is that. The same as you would if you were having a suspension. Okay, I will stop babbling. Let's have the next question. If a company is trying to rebrand due to bad PR in the past, is the best way to start a new GMB instead and close down the old one?
It really depends if you want to keep the reviews or not. It sounds like they've had bad PR, so you might not want to keep the reviews. And in that case, start a new GBP for that business. Like if it's a separate business at the same address, you're going to need to make sure that old GBP is marked permanently closed. And that it's not going to be showing up for like brand searches for your new business. But if you don't want the reviews, then you're going to need to start a new GBP.
I think this came up recently. Someone asked this, and I think if it's essentially, if it's a rebrand, then one would imagine it's a name change and a domain change, isn't it? So rather than just, it would be, you can have a new Google business listing, it's a rebrand. I imagine if you're changing, it depends where the country is. If you're changing your name, you're changing your domain, then you have new, whatever the business listing that you're pointing to show that it's a bona fide listing. But if it's just because, we've got all these awful reviews, what can we do? It needs to be a question of, understand why you've got all these awful reviews, work out what's the issue with the product or services. You can come back from a horrible review score just from replying in a very sensitive way to all those awful reviews, and then putting in place a really good and positive review acquisition strategy sort of moving forward. If you've got like this listing which has, you know, some authority in some way, even though you've got bad reviews, then it could be worth holding on to it if it's still the same business.
Yeah, that's a great point too, because your new GBP is not, if the other one ranks because of authority, it's not going to rank nearly as well or nearly as quickly. So that's a great point to take into account. You can fix bad PR.
Yeah.
But you can't make a new GBP rank very quickly.
Yeah. Cool. So hopefully that was useful. Claire Price, do you have any tips for adding a tagline to a business name on GBP to help increase ranking for relevant keywords? Is it recommended, or is it likely to be classed as spam or keyword stuffing?
So by tagline, I don't know what you're referring to. It may.
Sorry.
I'm thinking the editorial note that sometimes
I think she's probably thinking all smiles dentistry, best cosmetic dentist in Wales or something. It's like, it is a bit of a keyword stuff. I imagine that's what you're talking about, Claire.
Yeah, but adding that into like the business description or the business name.
I think into the name, into a business name. So
a
lot of people
do business name.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we can see Elizabeth's face. Elizabeth's face is saying no.
Well, adding the keywords into the business name is a direct ranking factor. So if you can add a keyword in your business name, it is a direct ranking factor. But your business name, according to the Google Business Profile Guidelines, needs to match what it is in the real world. So that's going to be on your signage outside your location. It's going to be on your website business logo. It's going to be on your social media profiles, your review site citation profiles. And if you have all that and you change the business name and then Google decides to take a closer look and they don't believe you and they suspend your listing, then you're going to have to prove through legal documentation like insurance, registration, utility bills, that that's your actual business name with the keywords. So a tagline, like that's probably too long to add. But if you're a dentist and you want to show up for like dental implants, so you want to add like dentist and dental implant to your name, you're going to need to make it your legal business name using a doing business as document or like officially with your state.
And there's a big balance on that in terms of the branding and losing any uniqueness. If we all become, custom signs Denver near me, then there is no difference.
And keep in mind too, if your business name is custom signs near me and someone's trying to look for you, but your profile doesn't have enough authority to show up for your brand name, you could have competitors showing up for your brand name.
Yeah.
So I would never recommend adding near me to your business name.
I think, the balance of let's just shove some keywords in and make it our business name versus lack of individual branding versus the ambiguation that Google is going to have trying to understand whether it's a brand or whether it's a search term. So just say no, kids, and come up, just say no. Just say no to keyword stuffing. Okay, thank you, Claire, and thank you, Elizabeth. So John asks, would it be within Google's guidelines to add some of our specialty services under the GBP product section instead of adding them within the GBP service section?
Yeah. I think it is within Google guidelines to add that product in. So say you're a carpenter and you offer like wallpaper removal. I would add that as a product link to the wallpaper removal page on your site, but I would also add them into the services section because that is a service you offer, and adding custom services into that section, they can be pulled in as justifications for when someone's searching for that. And it's a little more visible than the product section because it's actually right under your business name. It can show up in the 3-pack. So add it to both, but I think it's within guidelines. Yes.
Yeah. Only thing to look out for on that, I think, is to do with photos in products, I think, which have to adhere to slightly different guidelines. I think I could be wrong. Maybe there's a post about it somewhere that could go into the chat. But I'll have a look at that because I can remember a lot of my products getting rejected just because they weren't, they were pictures of animals, and you're not allowed to sell live animals using Google ads. Who knew? So watch out for that if you've got pictures of chickens or whatever it is, John, that you've got there. Let's have the next question. And Jeff asks, for a franchise website with local landing pages and duplicate service sub-pages with unique content under each local page, what are your suggestions for canonical tagging?
Yeah. So it depends how well those pages are already performing. Like, you always want to use data to tell you what to do and not like best practices. So I've seen it done both ways. I've seen very localized subcategory service pages, a lot of them for different locations, similar content, borderline duplicate, not canonicalized to any other page. They're self-canonicaled, and they perform very well for local searches. So my gut instinct is to don't canonicalize them, because you want them to show up for like service in city, like for the very small towns or areas you're servicing. But if you're seeing that like you have so many of them, it's wasting your crawl budget and they're not getting indexed, something's not working, you might want to experiment with canonicalizing some of them to the top performing, like top level service pages. Like, say you have like 10 local service pages, maybe test canonicalizing a group of them to the main service page and seeing if it helps improve that service page. Yeah. I think
do you think they need to be careful with like use of the canonical tag? Because if the page isn't like a complete duplicate, which is what canonicals are for when you canonicalize to something else. So I just check out all the sort of tech implications of that, but also what the guidelines are, because canonicalizing stuff that is similar but not the same to another page probably doesn't serve the purpose of the canonical tag. Does that? Would you agree, Elizabeth? It's not. So
I would agree with that. And Google doesn't have to listen to the tag either.
No,
it's a suggestion.
No. Yeah.
So you're really suggesting to Google that you have a better page for that particular topic. So you want to make sure. And two is best page.
Well, that it's a duplicate of the other page, basically, isn't it? So so it might be that you need a little bit of a content audit and then take a look and say, these pages, are they delivering? If they're not delivering, it might be that you want to combine the content and then just make a sort of bigger page for a larger geo area or more services on one page, rather than having 6 million different pages all being a bit scattergun, maybe. Thank you, Jeff. Okay, what have we got? From Miguel, how many GMB categories will give you better performance for ranking?
1 million. No, I'm just kidding.
So I wish we could have 1 million.
Right. So you can have 10 categories. You can have your primary category, which is going to hold the most weight by far. You want that to be the most important service category for you. The other 9 all hold the same weight, but they are going to directly impact your ability to rank for queries related to that category. So say I keep talking about dentists because I've worked with a lot of dentists, but if you're a dentist, you're probably going to want your main category to be dentist. But say you're specialized in children's dentistry, you're going to want to add that as a secondary category, because that will directly impact your ability to rank for children's pediatric keywords. And so I would, if you have 9 categories that are relevant, add them all, and it will help your rankings for each one. But if you don't have 9, don't add 9, and it's not going to really make a difference, because you want to rank for the categories that matter to you.
Yeah. And you might find, Miguel, that changes depending on like what the most important part of your business is. It could be seasonal, it could be because there is better return, or I don't know, but basically you can change them around and see how that works for you. Okay, we'll do the next question. We've done this one already, really. So we've had location pages. Oh, such a good question. Why does Google keep adding a ton of services to my GBP? Even after removing them, they keep coming back.
So something's probably broken with Google. Like I have the same issue. I keep deleting these deleting these services, Google ads, and Google will add back the exact same service. It doesn't make any sense. It must be broken at Google, because I don't think that's the intended experience. But why does Google keep adding them? Because Google is finding out information about your business from a bunch of different sources online, namely your website, or you can hope namely your website is the most authoritative source for your business. And they're getting keywords and service information that they think is relevant, so they add it to the profile because their sources have determined that it's relevant for you. It's very frustrating. But if you're seeing like a service that's coming up that's like so out of the realm of what you do and it makes no sense, try to see if you can find if like there's some sort of online source, if there's some page on your website that mentions that word or keyword, and remove it and see if that helps. But really the only thing you can do is keep deleting them and keep checking, because Google will keep adding them.
Also, another thing is, I wonder in terms of engagement, like our engagement as actual owners of that listing or managers of that listing, actually going in and proactively going in and saying, well, these are my category-based services, these are my custom services, populating that. Make sure you keep a copy then in a Google Doc. And then the fact that you've been in and proactively said, I do this, potentially that could suppress Google having to scrape lots of other stuff. But the fact that you've gone in and done it and you've kept a record of it means that next time, if you find that something has gone missing or you need to change it, that you've actually got a record of whatever your master service list is there.
Yeah.
Cool. So what do we got next? Steve, any suggestions for small businesses to efficiently acquire reviews using a natural growth strategy? When posting GBP reviews requires a Gmail account, but customer email account providers vary.
Yeah, that's a great question. I always recommend tools like GatherUp to manage reviews, because that'll allow you to get reviews on other platforms besides Google Business Profile. I honestly don't know if there's a way to get around a user needing a Gmail account for a Google review. I don't think there is. So
they need to have a Google account. Yeah. Not necessarily email, but just having a Google account, I guess, with their own email address. I mean, and it makes sense, doesn't it? Because Google wants to lock people into the Google infrastructure, and I guess it wants to make sure those reviews are, I don't know, whatever. You have to have an account to leave a review.
And Bright Local also has a review tool.
I was about to say other review platforms are available. But yeah, you're still up against the same thing that yes, you require. Be interested to know, Steve, how many people, or whether there's a certain demographic within your customer group that maybe there are certain customer groups that are less likely to leave Google reviews because they don't have access. So it's an ongoing struggle, one would imagine.
Yeah.
For many businesses. Okay, Tim, for a brand new business with a GBP profile, what are the most important factors to focus on to rank as quickly as possible?
So definitely getting reviews. You're going to want to get consistent, real reviews from real customers. None of that fake review, paying for review. You want a nice cadence of natural review flow. A lot of people think they can go off pay for like 50 to 100 reviews one time and they're going to be golden. You will see a ranking increase from a massive dump of reviews, but it's not going to stick and it's going to actually taper down if you don't consistently get new reviews after that. So focusing on a review strategy to get new reviews from new customers consistently is definitely going to be a major factor. Filling out the profile completely. A lot of features on it aren't direct ranking factors, like posts aren't direct ranking factors, opening date, description, Q&A. But having those completely filled out and optimized is going to help improve engagement on your listing. And engagement metrics do help improve rankings. Like if everyone's clicking on your business listing, Google's going to rank it higher because people like it. So having more things on your profile people can engage with, interact with, click to get to your website, the better. And then finally, make sure your website is fully optimized, especially the page that you're linking to from the GBP listing. You want it to be ranking organically in your area for the keywords that you want to show up for. And then over time, your GBP listing will also start showing up for those keywords that you're already showing up for organically, as long as you get the reviews and you consistently stay engaged with the profile.
Cool. And just check that your name, address, phone number, and your primary category are correct.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, you're good. And then you're good to go. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Tim. Jennifer, posts, recommended frequency, types that drive engagement, and how effective, important are posts to your overall GBP strategy.
Yeah. Sterling Sky has a really good article on this where they actually showed offer posts are the best type of post to do to get people to engage and click onto your website. So I would recommend doing a couple offer posts a month, depending on what type of offers, promotions you're offering your clients. I do a lot of free consultation, free estimate offer posts because that's something a lot of businesses offer. And it's not like a special offer they're doing. It's something you do all the time, but you want to get that out there and let people know you're offering free consultations and they should give you a call right then. And you don't need to post as much as you do on social media. I would, like I said, through a couple offer posts a month, and then changing up the imagery on the post to match the season. And if your business is seasonal, making sure like your imagery is matching up for the season or time. But you don't need to post like every day on social media because no one's going to be commenting on the post. No one's really engaging with them the same way they do on social media. They just want to see where you are, what you offer, and what kind of discounts they can get. So like the discounts, free posts, promotions, all of those are going to get the clicks. And those are what you want to post on Google.
100%. Brilliant. Thank you. What's next? Claire, what are your tips for building the most optimized business description? Is there certain information that Google is looking for in this particular section?
So any keyword in the business description, it's not going to impact ranking in any way. So you want your business description to be a nice tagline for your business and why customers should call you. You've been in business this many years. You have this many experts on your team. You have awards. You can even add the free consultation estimate promotion. But don't worry about optimizing it for keywords and ranking because it's not going to help.
No. And also remember, it's going to be truncated. So make sure your most important bit in terms of, you know, who you are, what it is that you do, and why someone should choose you over a competitor. Make sure you weight those towards the front. Otherwise, they won't see it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And Brad asks, what's the best advice you can give a local independent insurance agency who used to be #1 on Google for most terms, but a year or two ago, it slowly dropped off the first page?
Mm-hmm. So the first thing I would do is identify what most terms they are. So you're saying you dropped off from most terms. Well, what terms were they? Were they very broad, like insurance near me terms, like best insurance near me? Because that would make sense. You would drop off for, again, we're talking about those implicit keywords. So keywords that aren't location focused. So just insurance near me, home insurance. Those keywords I would expect businesses to drop off in the last year or two because of the vicinity update. So if those are the keywords you're dropping for, you have to identify that, and then you can identify keywords that you've dropped for, but you can improve on now, like the explicit keywords, like insurance in, I don't know where you're located, but insurance in Los Angeles, California. Mm-hmm. And you can optimize for those keywords that you actually have a shot at ranking farther away for. So basically what I'm saying is, don't worry if you've dropped for like a very broad keyword like insurance near me, and try to identify keywords that you may have dropped for that you can actually regain rankings for, which are going to be those less broad keywords with the location on them, long tail keywords.
Yeah, for sure. Michael, how do you become a GBP product expert?
Yeah, that's a great question. So you can go to the Google Business Profile Forum, and you're going to need a Gmail account, Google account, and you just start answering questions for people. You have to learn all the features on Google Business Profile. You have to understand the most common issues and concerns people have and how to effectively answer that. And also what avenues people can take to contact the right support team, and like what they need to give that support team to get a resolution to their issue the quickest, because that's the biggest disconnect with people on the forum, is they don't know how to contact support, and they don't know what support needs from them to solve their issue, because honestly, support, they don't give people anything to actually like solve the issue. Like they won't tell you why you're suspended. They won't tell you why your reviews are missing. They'll just say they're missing. If you can find them, let us know. Like, so you need to be that person for the general public to help them better navigate the product, get answers to their questions. And then eventually a community manager on the forum will see that you're inputting very good answers, you're helping people, and they'll reach out if they want you to become a silver product expert. But first you need to become a bronze product expert, which is just gathering points basically by answering questions. So just go start answering questions, interacting with people, and then eventually hopefully you'll catch their eye and move up in the program.
Brilliant. That's a brilliant answer. Thank you very much. We've got about 10 minutes just for some last questions. I think we've got loads of questions to get through anyway, but get your questions in if you've got anything else you want to ask. What do you foresee? This is a big question.
Yeah.
What do you foresee the future being with all of the AI content coming about recently?
Chaos. Honestly, in the best way.
Doom. Yeah.
Like Barry just shared on Search Engine Land an article where a business, a garage door repair company, was replying to reviews using an AI tool, but they didn't edit it. So it literally said, I'm just an AI tool, so I can't really help you with your problem with this business. I suggest you contact this business and see if they can help you. And they just posted that as the review response.
Yeah.
Like, so I foresee a lot of that where people just use it and don't care because it's just saving them time. They're like, reply to this review, just post it. But I also see people using it in really creative, engaging, invigorating ways. Like my colleague Carrie Hill was posting in our Slack channel about how she asked GPT chat to create tools for websites to help people like figure out how much their mortgage rate is going to be, to figure out how much insurance could cost them given their like specific information. So it can do really cool things, like very technical things that like personally, like me as an SEO, I couldn't have done such the developmentally technical things, but like it makes it possible for like the average SEO to do really cool development things. But also people can abuse it, and they will. So I think we're going to see a lot more of the negatives of it, of like people misusing it, than the positives. But I do think both are going to be prominent. Like people are going to do great things with it as well.
So it's a tool, but a lot of the power of that tool is going to depend on the person that is wielding the tool and how they use it, I guess. What's the next question? Oh, do you recommend, Nicole, this is, do you recommend that doctors and the businesses they own have separate profiles?
So this is a very interesting question, and I think it's different for different industries. So for doctors, and then for anyone that doesn't know the background of this question, Google allows individuals that are professionals in their area to have their own Google business profile listing for themselves. So think that you're a doctor at a hospital. The hospital has a listing, but you're also allowed to have a listing yourself as a practitioner. They're called practitioner listings. So if you're a doctor and you work at a hospital and you're looking to get patients for your own personal practice, and say you're an internal medicine person, then yeah, I would have a profile for myself or the doctor client using a category that's different than hospital, because I'm assuming the profile is going to be verified to the hospital address or whatever address they work at. But if you're a doctor that you have your own practice and you're not working out of a hospital, so I wouldn't have a separate listing for yourself and you're in your practice at the same address, because I'm assuming both those are going to have the same category. And this is when the local filter comes into play. So the local filter is when two or more businesses in the same category, so same primary category, or at the same address, they're going to filter each other out. So you want to avoid the local filter at all costs. And if you have two listings at the same address and they have to have the same category, like doctor, then no, I wouldn't have two listings. But if they have different categories, then potentially yes, like hospital versus doctor, then yeah.
Cool. And so, yeah, that's specific industries that works really well in, you're saying, and it's just being strategic with choice of primary categories.
Yeah. And then understanding the local filter. There's a Sterling Sky article about it. That's the most important thing to understand about that question.
Yes. Cool. Well, I'm sure that we'll get a link to that in the chat for people. Lance asks, if you have multiple clients from the same industry in the same city and you are posting similar content, not duplicate, and their website sitemaps are similar, does this become dilutive?
So you're posting similar content. I'm assuming posts on the GBP.
Similar content, not on the. I think Lance is working with 20 dentists all in the same city and is writing. Is that what you mean, Lance? Multiple clients, same industry, same city, posting similar content. I don't know where I'm not sure. There's a lot of duplication going on.
Yeah, and their website maps are similar. Does become, well, It depends on how Google is looking at the content. Like I've seen similar content across different domains perform well in the same area, but it really depends. Like if they all have very, very similar content and Google can identify it, it may not be performing as well. There's no way to really know without looking into the data.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're posting similar content, I think that's fine if they're Google Business Profile posts and they're the same for each listing, but they're different businesses, different images, I hope. And then that's fine. But the website content, that I would have to look into the data for that. I would assume since they're different domains, Google's not connecting them and considering them duplicate content. But
I'd worry about your clients asking questions.
Yeah, I don't want the same content as my competitor down the street.
Yeah. So I'd probably say, no, it's not a good idea, generally.
Not a good idea, maybe, but yeah.
Probably.
I
Probably, depending on the context.
Yeah.
I think we've got time for maybe 2 more. I'm a bit surprised with the interpretation of near me as implicit. Google uses GPS, so to me, it's almost more explicit as adding the name of a street or city. Any thoughts?
So when you add near me to the term, you're immediately putting emphasis on where you're located. And so Google's going to show you search results based on where you're located. So I'm in New Haven, Connecticut. So if I do near me, it's going to show me New Haven results. And it's the same as if I did dentist near me, it's going to show me dentist near me. If I do dentist, Google knows where I'm located and it's still going to show me dentist near me. Mm-hmm. For an explicit term, you're telling Google where you want to see results from. So if I'm in New Haven and I say dentists, San Diego, it's going to show me dentists in San Diego.
Yeah.
So that's where it's different because Google's not using my location to determine what to show, what businesses to show.
Okay.
Whereas with near me, they are using your location. So that's why it's implicit.
Thank you so much for describing that so well, Elizabeth. That was really, really useful because that was one of the things that I was thinking earlier. I was like, I don't understand. When you're using those in explicit, I don't know if I can even. Jenny's probably going to tell me not to answer this. If you're saying Denver, for example, dentist Denver, I mean, it's a big area. Does Google use the centroid then that it sees of Denver to give those results? So it's proximity centroid.
Exactly. Okay. Yep. So that's where the centroid to the city center matters for your GBP listing as well.
Okay. Brilliant. All right. Thank you. And thank you so much, Kay, today for asking that question.
Yeah, that was a great question. Really, it's very confusing though. So like if anyone has any questions on that, please catch me on Twitter.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you. I think this is probably the last one. Let's see.
This is a great question.
Claire. Yeah. What are some of the most underutilized functions of GBP in your opinion, and how should businesses be using them to increase their organic local ranking? Thank you, Claire.
Yeah, I have the perfect answer to this because it's a new ranking factor that Sterling Sky did a study on like a month ago, and it is the services section of your GBP listing. So earlier we had a question about Google auto adding services to your business. So in that same section, if you click accept all the edits, because you have to click accept. If you click dismiss, it doesn't do anything. Again, broken tool. So you click accept, and then you go down to click add more services, like under that category. And you'll, depending on the category, depending on the industry, you're going to see pre-populated services. So we call these predefined. So there's 2 types of services you can add to the GBP listing now. Custom, where you type it in, or predefined, where Google offers it and you can check it off and click save. Those predefined services in the study Sterling Sky put out, we showed, and Whitespark is doing a study on it now, Darren Shaw. We showed that it's a direct ranking impact. So like if you're a dentist and and you go to your dentist category, check your services. Sometimes there'll be children's dentist or something. You click that, that's going to directly influence your rankings for children's dentistry terms. So check your services. That's definitely the most underutilized right now because it's super
brilliant. Brilliant. So go ahead and don't just give up with services because they only show on a mobile in a special tab. They're doing something useful. We don't have time for any more questions, I don't think.
No.
Even though
it went by too fast.
That scrolled back to none, but that was good, wasn't it? There was so many questions. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. It's so
Thanks
nice
for having me.
It's lovely when you're the host and you're scribbling lots of notes of lots of things that you can learn as you've gone along. So thank you for taking the time out of your day or your evening to give us all of that insight. Thank you so much. So we are going to we're going to basically get ready to say goodbye. I need to remind everybody to follow Elizabeth. If you're not already, where are you? So follow Elizabeth on Own Your SERP on Twitter because she's there doing tests, talking about things. She's presenting. Your decks are amazing. So thank you for everything that you do for us. Another thing I need. We love each other so much. I need to remind everyone, please, to sign up for the Bright Local newsletter, which goes out with a digest email. So that's got all of the Bright Local news, latest in SEO news, invitations to the webinars. So we can make sure that you're in the loop for all the new webinars that we've got coming up as well. And thank you very much again. And thank you very much to Jenny and Sammy behind the scenes today. Thanks, Elizabeth.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.
All right, guys. Thanks.
We just keep waving till we get turned off.